Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us here on After GMS. I'm Tracy McCain here with Stacy Spivey and Ed Matthews. Ed, you might be trying to get the feed up. Something's wrong with our Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
So if there's an issue, you might have to turn the Wi-Fi off. That's what Stacy did, and it worked because I'm having an issue. So I'm going to try that too. See, Stacy, that's the reason why you're our social media queen. You know all the tricks.
Yeah, sometimes when the Wi-Fi fails, I'll just go ahead and put it on, whatever service I have, and that tends to work. So I am able to see a lot of comments already.
Oh, great.
Coming in saying good morning to everyone. And I know that there is a lot going on in this world and here in the Triad. So we hope that we can give you the information that you need, but also put a smile to your face. And I think the one person that can do that is Ed Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
He always can put a smile on our face.
Well, that is very sweet of you to say. I'm going to do it with a nice forecast. It's a beautiful morning here in the Piedmont. We went down to 56 out at the airport this morning for our morning low. We're on our way to the mid-70s today with plenty of sunshine, back into the mid-50s tonight. 82 tomorrow. Now this drier and cooler air is not going to be around very long. As a matter of fact, heat and humidity are going to come back rather quickly. By Wednesday, we're looking at some upper 80s. We'll keep it dry through Wednesday, and then there'll be enough moisture around by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for a few afternoon and evening showers and storms. And we get enough sunshine through those clouds on Thursday, we could have our very first 90-degree day of the season. It's got to reach 90 at the airport, which is the weather station, the official weather station for the Piedmont Triad.
All right, thank you, Ed Matthews. Already people on our Facebook are saying, like Claudia says, only good news today, please, which is why we started with you, because that was the best news of the day. So we are seeing a lot of our community come together, especially stepping up to help our neighbors.
That's right. After the first round of protests Saturday night, on Sunday morning, owners were working side by side as volunteers came out to help. You can see right there, people were sweeping up glass, taping openings where windows were smashed, and boarding up other windows to prevent any more damage. Mayor Nancy Vaughn described some of the helping hands she witnessed this weekend.
It was really gratifying to see all the volunteers that came out, brought wood to help them board up their windows. Many of the business owners have decided to board up all of their windows because they don't know what will happen over the next couple of days. That a lot of the restaurants brought out food for the volunteers. People came to help sweep up.
Yeah, truly amazing to see all the volunteers coming out and helping clean up after everything. Something that stuck with me after I saw it on Sunday morning, was a town, and I cannot remember off the top of my head where it was, but it was outside of an Omni hotel somewhere. Someone had gathered all the debris and trash and a lot of glass and had made a symbol of a peace sign out there. And I think that just has really been ingrained in my head through all this. And it's been nice to see those positive images out there.
Yeah, there are positive images, and you kind of look for those signs of hope and unity as you look to kind of refocus your energy, take a beat and, take in what happened and then look for ways to find positive solutions. So Ed Matthews, a lot of people are looking for these signs of hope, and, it starts, one, with the birds chirping in the weather garden.
Yeah.
But I mentioned this on the Good Morning Show, you live and work in downtown Greensboro, so this is a moment for you to kind of reset.
Yes, it definitely is, Tracy, and we take one day at a time, but I've lived in Greensboro and I've had the pleasure of living here for 32 years now, and about 13 of those 32 years have been in downtown Greensboro. I love downtown. I love the vitality and the energy there. Our local officials and our community leaders have done a wonderful, wonderful job to revitalize downtown Greensboro. And we're going to keep that process going as well. This is a little bump in the road, but I tell you what, I think the community of Greensboro is really just that, a community of people that come together and help each other. And that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate that the majority of these demonstrations over the weekend were peaceful, and that our local officials tell us that the damage that we've seen downtown was not related to those protests that happened afterwards. So they're looking into people that potentially did that. And I do want to mention some things that people have said on our Facebook page. If I can find the post. And maybe, Tracy, you want to take this while I'm looking for it. Oh, there it is. It's Amber. She said, thanks to our wonderful police departments. And then some people were talking about how beautiful the weather is. And then Amy was asking, can anyone show up to help clean up, or do they have to sign up somewhere? I'm not sure about that, Amy, but hopefully we can work to find out if volunteers are still needed.
All right, we need to kind of talk about this a little further with a look at what's happening in downtown Greensboro right now, and the cleanup gets underway.
The cleanup process is underway after George Floyd protests in downtown Greensboro. Giving you a look at the scene right now, city workers are clearing the sidewalk and street. This after businesses vandalized and looted, windows broken, walls spray painted with graffiti. Well, again, the destruction happened during ongoing George Floyd protests Saturday and Sunday night along the South Elm Street corridor. Well, Greensboro police and city leaders held a press conference on Sunday. Greensboro Police Chief Brian James says a majority of the protests were peaceful and meaningful during the day, but at night, the chief says outsiders disrupted the protests to vandalize businesses. You're getting a look at some of that damage right now, but again, that damage also includes the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. The police say someone shattered the museum's front glass window. Police are studying the video of the protest to identify the people responsible for damages to the museum and other businesses. Well, police are also working to bring the appropriate charges to suspected vandals. City leaders are trying to figure out how many businesses were damaged and how much money it will cost to rebuild downtown Greensboro. Now, keep in mind, businesses and restaurants are already struggling to stay afloat amid the coronavirus pandemic. And according to the Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn, she says volunteers came together to help small business owners pick up the pieces Sunday morning. And local restaurants also provided food for volunteers, lending a helping hand. But again, today you can see it's going to be another round of cleanup, and businesses are also preparing for the possibility of another round of peaceful protests turned destructive. But again, giving you a look at the damage. As you can see, windows broken, several businesses vandalized, even graffiti on the walls. But again, just another round of protests underway today.
And you can see in her live shot that cleaning crews are already out there starting the process. And so at this moment, let's just take a deep breath, you know, reset, refocus. There are a lot of things going on right now. On top of the protests this weekend, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And with the modified reopening of phase 2 in our state, I wanted to check in and see how you're doing. So I asked you on Facebook, how are you feeling? Lisa Schaffner says, I don't think people understand that this virus has changed things. We can't just go back to normal. Jean Bailey says, I think cautiously reopening while encouraging social distancing and taking precautions is fine. I don't think we'll go back to what used to be normal. We'll just need to adapt. Someone else wrote in, Karen, I believe, said, yes, I do feel better about things and think we are going in the right direction. If you don't feel comfortable out yet, that's okay. We have to decide for ourselves. And that kind of is a good place to leave it, because it really depends on how you feel. I'll use the swimming analogy again, where, you know, some people are ready to just cannonball right into the pool and go out and experience and enjoy and step right back into what they know as normal, while other people are, you know, kind of testing the waters, putting one toe in at a time, or maybe a foot, if you're that ambitious. So that's kind of my approach, is just, you know, taking it literally baby steps and dipping one toe in at a time and seeing what works for me and my family and what doesn't. So Stacey, I'll turn it to you before we get to comments on our feed here. How are you feeling?
Well, I love that analogy that we've been using this morning about just a toe in the water. I think for me, maybe my leg in the water, just like to put a light laugh on that. But I've been venturing out a little bit more. I've been wearing a mask though, and I did go to a restaurant this weekend, and I mentioned this in the Good Morning Show that I was so impressed with this local Greensboro restaurant that was just taking these guidelines so seriously. There were hardly any tables inside of their very large building, and they were doing this to make sure that customers were spread out as far as possible. All of their employees had face masks on, and you could tell that they were really focused on sanitizing and cleaning everything, but also so happy to see guests come back in. And they were all, I mean, you can't see their smiles because of their masks, but you knew that they were smiling and they're happy to see you in there. And it was so nice to kind of get back to something normal, even though it wasn't exactly normal, but it felt good, and I felt safe there.
Yeah, and I love how we use the word normal, but no one really knows what that means anymore. You know, Ed Matthews, it's one of those things where I guess it just depends on how you're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel good about the direction that we're going. I am delighted to see businesses slowly opening, the restaurants. They need our support, especially the ones downtown. But all of our restaurants need our support. So go out and visit one and have some great food here in the Triad whenever you get a chance. Slow but surely moving forward is kind of the way I'm looking at things. I still have a stack of masks. I still use them when I go out, and still about the only place I go is the supermarket. I'm a fairly boring person, but I'm going to spread my wings and start to fly a little bit more as I feel more and more confident. But slow and steady forward is kind of the way I'm looking at things.
All right, Ed Matthews, maybe we'll be all flying soon. You never know. All right, Stacey, have you been able to check the Facebook feed? I know you posted your question here.
Yeah, a lot of people are weighing in. Sharia says she's still being cautious, while Dixie says just taking our time and enjoying life. Sharon says she agrees, except for places that are essential. Those places should have strict practices. High risk don't have a choice there. So some people are still just being cautious this morning, and I completely understand that. And I will tell you, I'll be honest with you, that if there is a big crowd somewhere and maybe a store, or for whatever reason, I'm probably going to try to stay away. And I think that's why I felt comfortable going into a restaurant, because I knew that they were spacing everyone out. I'm still super cautious at this time, but kind of like what Ed said, slowly starting to adjust to this new normal and trying to get out there and support local businesses.
Yeah, and people are still commenting, and we encourage you to keep doing that. We certainly appreciate that. Now let's take a moment and kind of wrap things up and get to our morning headlines, some more other stories that you need to know about this morning. So Greensboro police are reviewing all that video surveillance as they try to track down the folks who are responsible for damaging downtown businesses over the weekend. Several windows, as you know, were smashed, businesses looted, and others vandalized in the aftermath of 2 protests. So far, we know about 1 arrest made in Greensboro this weekend. Police say it was a counter-protester who showed up at Saturday's then peaceful march. In Raleigh, a curfew goes into place tonight after hundreds of protesters showed up this weekend. In this video, you can see a large group shut down one of the interstates on Saturday afternoon. The mayor of Raleigh is expected to release more information about the curfew later today. In Washington, D.C., fires started burning as protests continued near the White House late last night. There was a citywide curfew in place at 11 o'clock. Many people were out in the park near the White House that defied the order, and that's when reports of trash being burned started coming in. On Friday, President Trump was temporarily moved to a bunker as a safety precaution because of the growing protests.
Governor Roy Cooper declared today a national day of mourning in honor of coronavirus victims. So far, we know more than 800 people have died in our state because of the virus, and there are now more than 28,000 confirmed cases in our state, with more than 416,000 tests complete. The RNC is giving Governor Cooper until Wednesday to decide whether or not North Carolina can fully accommodate the convention. In a letter, the committee says they've worked to put safety measures in place amid the pandemic. The RNC set for August 24th at the Spectrum Center.
All right, let's check that 7-day forecast. It is beautiful out in the garden this morning. Temperature went down to 56 for our morning low. We're on our way to the mid-70s today. Now, I enjoy the drier and more comfortable air and the cooler air because it ain't going to hang around very long. As a matter of fact, heat and humidity are going to come back in full force and come back fairly quickly as well. Tomorrow will be in the low 80s, but look, upper 80s come our way by Wednesday, and by Thursday we could have our very first 90-degree day here in the Piedmont so far this season, and we stay in the upper 80s by Friday and even into Saturday. The humidity, yeah, the moisture comes back, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we will be on the lookout for some of those scattered, mainly afternoon and evening showers and storms. But it's going to be a great day today here in the Piedmont.
Yeah, by Thursday we'll be back into summer temperatures.
Yeah, and the humidity too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I'm going to want to find a pool.
some of them are open, some of them are not. Let
Yeah.
me know how it works out.
Okay, I'll be in search.
Okay. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us on After GMS. We always enjoy chatting with you. Please join us Monday through Friday at 7:45 on Facebook Live, and we'll have more conversations for you tomorrow. Have a great day and be safe.